How's it going, everyone? My name is Nick, you're on the roads way south, and thank you so much for joining me on yet another video at the Bergervier Dam just outside of Franschhoek. Now, today's video, you might have seen from the thumbnail, is promising to be an extremely exciting one, and I can barely contain myself, so I guess it's time that I turn around and show you guys what today is going to be all about. Let me introduce Brad and his Audi RS5.
Morning.
Okay, so I think first things first, Brad, if you'd be so kind, please tell us all you know about the RS5 and why this is your current car.
Sure. So it's a 2013 Audi RS5 coupe. It's a 4.2 litre naturally aspirated V8. It's obviously quattro all-wheel drive with the sports torque vectoring rear differential. It's basically stock. The only thing that's changed on it is the resonator deletes, and I suspect a tune, but I haven't had an opportunity to test it yet.
And I think before we get into all the details as well, we probably want to show you guys what you want to see so bad, and that is us behind the wheel of this car making some noise. So let's do that right away. Okay, so here we go. Ready to go?
Ready.
So yeah, just off the bat, I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. This is an incredible car from all directions, and yeah, I need to say thank you before we get this started. I'm so excited.
No, you're welcome, man. It's a pleasure to be on the channel.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so I think the first thing we need to get out of the way is that incredible noise coming from the back of this car. I think it's fair to say that's not stock, right?
It resonates delete.
Okay, and what a change that makes. Oh, and it revs so fast. But that's the naturally aspirated fuel you get there. No?
Yeah, all the way to 8,200.
And that's a high red line. I'm actually surprised. That's a few hundred off from like a 911 GT3. That's very high. So how long have you had this car, and what's the experience been like so far?
I bought it in July last year, right in the middle of lockdown.
Oh.
That's the only reason I could buy it, is because they...
lockdown price?
Yeah, everything, the stars aligned, right? The stars aligned. But it's... I wasn't originally planning to buy this. I was planning to buy a BMW M5, an F10.
Okay.
But
it's like a direct rival to this car.
Yeah, well, it's in a different league because it's the new era of twin turbos and...
Okay, I see. So that next leap, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Where performance takes sort of a complete drive into the craziness. But the car didn't speak to me. In the test drive, it got from 0 to 120 instantly in the blink of an eye. No noise, no drama, no passion.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then... so I passed on it, and the dealer called me 2 weeks later, BMW dealer, strangely enough.
Okay.
And asked me if I wanted to come test drive this car. Okay, the moment it started, yeah, I was sold. It was done. The deal was done.
That's awesome. And I mean, what a buy. This car looks so clean on the inside. I'll throw a few overlays every now and then. But like the leather work and the carbon fiber especially is just pristine. And that's so scarce in second-hand cars, unfortunately, because I think South Africa, the car culture isn't always as refined. E92 coincidentally drove past just now, but no, this car looks perfect inside.
That's one thing Audis do really well is interiors.
Yeah, it's so well rounded off. Everything is so homogeneous, and then you get these interesting red stitching marks, or like with the shifter, if I can put it like that, with the RS badging is so cool. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned earlier you used to own the S4 and then moved on to the RS4. Now, if you wouldn't mind, what's the big difference?
It's all in the way it drives. So most people will know that the supercharged S4 can actually be faster than this RS5 quite easily.
Hectic.
Just with a stage 1 tune and a pulley. So it wasn't a power reason. It was purely about how it drives, how it sounds, and how, I know it sounds silly, but how the car spoke to me. That's
not silly at all. If I can speak to that with the 86, it's not a fast car. It doesn't even sound special, but the way the car speaks to you as a driver is on a next level, and that's a good reason to buy a car in my books.
Yep.
That feedback. Oh my goodness. Woo. Oh wow. There's a nice GTR parked up here at the Bikers Cafe. But I'm not convinced it sounds that cool. I know they sound great, but this is next level. Okay, so moving on to power figures. Obviously, this is the 4.2 litre V8 naturally aspirated. What are we looking at in terms of kilowatts and newtons?
So it's left, sorry.
Oh yeah, left here. Oh, sorry. That looks like a crayon PTS color 911 GTS. You don't see those too often. Oh, also sounds good. Sorry, back onto the power.
It's 310 kilowatts on the dyno. I did a dyno run quite recently, which is 420 horsepower for people like me from the UK. And the newton meters is where the naturally aspirated sort of lets it down compared to modern cars. So it's only 440 newton meters, but I mean, that takes you very, very quickly to the speed limit.
It's still plenty. If you think about James's car that we rave about so much, is only 400. So another 40 on that is, like you said, plenty. Really, really good enough in that regard.
Yeah, so it's running. I had a choice recently between the Pirelli P0s and the Michelin Pilot 4Ss.
Right.
And everyone in the tyre community will know that's a hotly debated topic. I went with the P0s in the end just because they're OEM, and it's the first time I've had proper ultra performance tyres on it. And
275s are really beefy. That's
with
proper.
a thin sidewall, only 30 sidewall, and obviously the 20-inch rims. And they haven't done me any wrong. I mean, granted, I've got Quattro to save my life every now and then. But yeah, I'm happy so far. I might take Michelin's next time, we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, so you're just feeling them out, still seeing what they are capable of.
Yeah, well, it's still a new to me car, right? It's still
it's barely a year old, as you said, in your ownership. And you mentioned actually something that I'm quite curious about, is you said there you've got a track day lined up where you're going to do sort of an advanced driving course with this specific car.
Yeah, so my wife bought me basically an advanced driving course on Killarney. It was supposed to be for a Christmas present, and then lockdown happened and they shut everything down. So I've been eager to get at it for ages and ages and ages, and now I've finally got the opportunity in May to go and do that.
I think that is going to be an absolute treat, and it's good actually that you're saving the car for that moment, because then you know you can go all out, safe environment, safe instructor. It's just the perfect, scenario.
Well, it'll be a nice way to actually learn what the car can do as opposed to what I can do, because I imagine the car can do a fair amount more than I can.
That's the thing with these higher performance cars. You realize that your limits or the car's limits are a lot farther than you expect just from looking at the car from the outside.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. Oh, that soundtrack. Okay, so what does the future look like for the RS5? Do you have any plans?
So I just got, literally in the last week, some EBC yellow stuff brake pads, which need to go on before the track day, hopefully. But I also need to do the rear discs, and that's where RS tax is really starting to bite. So
that's where the difference between the S and the RS is really evident.
Yeah, that's where you go to the Audi dealer with your credit card and you hope they don't take all of your money.
Oh man.
But after the brake discs, I have to do a carbon clean. Everybody knows the carbon clean issues with the direct injection Audis. And then after that, I'm not sure about the exhaust. We spoke about it a bit already, but it's nice and shouty when you want it to be, and then it's not shouty when you don't want it to be. And if I change it, I'm worried it'll ruin that. Yeah, no, I agree. Especially from the outside yet again. And the last thing you want in a car, as well rounded off as this, is resonation on the inside. It's just going to ruin the vibe. Yeah, and then last but certainly not least is I'm starting to build a bit of a passion for detailing.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and find someone, a car detailer in Cape Town. It doesn't seem to be that popular here. There's one, I'll talk to you a little bit later, there's one really professional guy in Cape Town that can maybe help you out there. Yeah, so get him to help me with the paintwork and maybe teach me some tricks, because I'm still very much an amateur. Yeah. And then I think that's about it for this car.
That's great though, especially with the carbon cleaning, the detailing. It's looking after the car, which is always rewarding at the end of the day.
There's a tendency these days to just keep modding and get more speed and more power and more everything, but that's not the reason why I bought this car. It wasn't to just keep upgrading it. It was to enjoy it.
That makes me so happy. It's
Keep
so
smiling.
relatable. Being able to look after something that needs looking or deserves looking after is rewarding in its own way.
Yeah.
That's good. I think it's worth mentioning that we really struck it lucky with the weather this morning. That sound. And especially the car scene as well. We've seen so many cool cars, including a GT2 RS, which is quite mental. But now we're on our way back to the first shooting location of this morning for something quite exciting. We'll check you guys there. And so here we have the small surprise. Brad said it's fine if we drive the car, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm behind the wheel of a 4.2 litre V8 with a RS badge. Oh my goodness. Hello?
Hello? What you doing, mate? Driving?
Not sure.
Enjoy.
Hopefully driving.
The car pivots as you do that. Oh wow.
I suppose now is a bad time to mention I'm a terrible passenger, right?
Don't say that. Please don't say that. Oh, the steering is so light at slow speeds.
It gets heavier if you put it in dynamic, but I prefer it without being in dynamic.
It's so hot. Like, I'm not sure when last I heard a car that upshifts so nice as this one. Woo! Oh wow. I'm not gonna put that a little bit.
Yeah, go bro.
Oh. I can't imagine how I'd ever get decent fuel consumption with a soundtrack like that.
Like I said, the best I've ever gotten is, I think, 16, 17 litres, 4 kilometers.
I do not blame you one bit. Oh, that feedback. Yeah, I think you can just see from the expression on my face that I'm kind of speechless. And again, I have to say thank you so much. I got to shake your hand
cool,
for
man.
that one. That was so awesome. The fact to have that 4.2 litre under your feet is mind-boggling. The way this thing delivers power is... It's a world away from where the 86 is. Obviously, you can't compare the two cars. They're made for different types of driving. But it's so nice to have that kind of power at your disposal once again. So I've got to say thank you to that. Yeah, did you enjoy the day at least in our company?
Yeah, it was great fun. It was a lot more natural than I thought it would be.
I'm glad to hear
been fun
that.
chatting to you.
I gotta say sorry for the intro. I think I did like what, 4 takes? I'm not sure why I stressed that much. Maybe it's the presence of this beast back here. But it was super awesome. I also gotta say thank you to those two guys up there somewhere.
Yeah, hello.
James and Branden also doing their part to help with the filming and everything. So once again, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys would drop a like down below and a comment as well and subscribe. And we'll see all of you guys in the next video. Cheers.